Ellen and Andre paid us a visit from the office, and they come out to do a safety audit.
I was gonna say,
There you go, eh?
There. I'm always looking for a thumbnail, you see.
Yeah.
James went to use the bathroom one morning and found that somebody had placed a huge pet rock in there overnight. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for subscribing. It's Vern Kyle here, and I hope you enjoy the upcoming video. Okay, we're just beginning to pre-grade a job, and the clay is nice and dry, and at least this section is roll-faced mono on both sides. So we're going to begin to create the mono-berm. Now, the first step that I like to do when we start these jobs is I just carefully go right around the perimeter and take off the packer tracks right up to the hub, kind of. I stay a half a meter from the hub or a little ways from the hub, but I just clean it off, make one pass and just groom it up and clean it off so that it's easier for the grade people to walk on it, and when they draw their offset line it shows better, and then they can also put some numbers on there with paint. So that's what I'm going to do right now, is just make one pass along the hubs and just groom it up a little bit. There's the hub there. I just go about that far away from the hub and just cruise along just slowly. And I haven't even bothered to close up these manhole lids yet, but that's the next thing I'll do, is close these holes and push those back in. They've just been lowered, you see. And when I do that procedure, I always look for valves. You know, I always keep track of the ones that aren't very deep. If you see a water valve that's quite shallow, then make sure you keep that in mind. Because when you're building these berms or just blading along, you could hit it and you could break it. Well, this is going to show what it looks like as a first step. Hey, Rob.
Roll face curve.
Roll face curve. How far is when you draw this offset line, how far off the hub are you?
1.2 meters.
1.2 meters off the hub, and it's roll faced mono.
Yes.
So here's the offset line, and there's a 16. See, that 16 represents centimeters. So now I'll just go along there with a grater at every one of these stations, and I'll cut to that offset line. And here's a 14. We'll cut to that offset line, and we'll start whittling this berm, the top of this berm out. And of course, the berm will be at 2% toward the road. There's that 16. And you see, of course, the offset line will be the back of the berm. That'll be the back end of the mono berm. After a while, you get so used to holding that 2%, it just kind of comes naturally. You almost don't even have to look at it anymore. There's a 10. And you see, the next time, oh no, here comes a valve. We got a valve coming up, and you see, there's a hydrant, and there's always a 6-inch valve in front of those hydrants, and you'll see how close you need to come to. You got to get right close to that valve when you pass it, because that's just the way it is. It's just the way it's designed. Yeah, so when I'm coming along this valve, there's a 15 there, so I've probably got that already. have to come to those zones, and it's basically how they all are. Oh yeah, I can see. So there's the top of the berm, kind of more or less. We got to check it again, but there's the top of the berm. There's the windrow that I took off the berm, and I'm just going to blade it over now. I'll do a little blading on it. Of course, I've got this camera mounted to my hard hat this morning. So you're seeing the onboard view. Cut out, and it's approximately 2%. I'll lower the view of my camera again here. And I'll put it back on my head, and we'll snip out these last numbers. Looking for the offset line. You notice how these guys put the number behind the offset line? That way, when I can make numerous passes on it, there's a 21. Now I'll have to cut a little bit more in that 21, but I'll be able to see that 21 when I make another pass. So that's the advantage of putting a number behind the line, you see. The next numbers they put on, they'll probably put them on the berm itself. But these first set of numbers, they put them behind the offset line. You see, if I can't cut that whole 22 out of there in one shot, which I didn't, I only took about 10. Now when I turn around, I can still see that 22. So that's the advantage of putting the number behind the line. There's a 20. I'm trying to hold on approximately 2%. There's a 19. Set of numbers on. See, now they're writing them on the berm, which is fine, because I'll probably be able to take that whole number in one shot anyway. And there's the windrow that I just took off. There, Rob has put a 6 down. Yes, and you see now they're doing it on the berm. Hi, you guys. These guys are putting on numbers as well. this berm, the top of this berm on grade. So now you see there's a pink line. They drew a paint line down it. Well, that paint line is the notch line. So yeah, we'll cut this notch. I'll go along here with the grader and I cut that down. This one is the notch is 140, and that's our next step. Here's the top of the berm. It's at approximately 2%, and my next step is to cut that notch. And you see we've generated quite a bit of material here. There's a pretty huge windrow, and we're picking it up with the buggy, and yeah, we're taking quite a bit of dirt out of here. So here's the end result. There's a road that we've pre-graded, and when you're pre-grading, you don't really have to get too fancy, but there it is. You can see where the berms are cut. There's a section that's pre-graded. There's the notch that I was talking about, the notch line right there. Like I say, it's about a 140 notch. And so there's basically the mono-berms pre-graded.
That quarter at the same time, save yourselves 300 meters of walking.
Still large chunk of here.
Now we're just going to cut they've drawn this notch line. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but we've got a line there, and I'm going to follow that line, and we're going to cut the notch out. And like I say, this is just pre-grading, so we're not too crazy about it. I'm trying to guess at about 120. The actual notch is 140. And there you go. I'll go right down there and follow this pink line. They were nice enough to connect the dots. Like normally they put these, they draw these lines by measuring out, of course, at each hub, at each station. And here they were nice enough to connect the dots, so it makes it really easy to cut. Actually, you just follow the pink line. It's pretty basic. And as you're doing it, you kind of create your quarter crown at the same time. So you keep the one side of the blade so that it's filling the quarter crown at the same time. turn around and make one pass in the other direction, because this dirt is some spots it's really, really hard. So I'll probably turn around and make a cut in the other direction on this gutter, and then Rob can measure that gutter, do grades on that gutter, and that'll have that notch cut. Now here we've got a crazy valve in the way up in this dog leg. We've got a valve in the way. I don't think I won't be able to go. I won't be able to go all the way because of that.
Remember, you can't count out in that corner, Vern. I'll get it with your kids.
Thank you, James. I'll just go as far as I can go. There's a valve. You see, there's a valve right there. It's a 6-inch valve, and they can't get it lowered anymore, apparently. Now I'll just go the other direction on this. I'll just go the other direction on this gutter, and hopefully it'll be pretty good. It really helps to go in both directions, especially when it's so hard like this. Your blade kind of, well, that's a grader do the work for you, really. It's automatically correcting your in areas where the blade bounced up over something hard or a rock or something, it'll correct that. There. So that gutter is cut, and gutter is cut, and now they just measure it, do grade on it, and see how it fares out.
How's that looking?
I think a buggy or two out of here.
Okay, Rob, I'll come and play with those numbers. I've cut your gutter here now on this piece. Okay, Rob, go ahead. Cut a 3. Now you see at the high point there's a fill of 1. On this particular site, the lay of the land is quite level. So the engineers have created high points and low points to make the water drain. Now on this site there's no less than 8 high points. As you see on the right hand side of the screen, we've marked the high points with a red X. If you know where the high points are, the whole grading process makes more sense, and it just makes it easier for everyone involved. And you've noticed that we have marked the high points. See that little stake right there? Rob is just walking in front of me here and giving me these numbers, which is quite helpful. I like that when they do that. At least here's a cut of 4 again. A cut of 4. I'll add to this windrow here a bit. When you're doing this, you gotta make sure you're gonna preserve these dots and don't run over these dots. Yeah, I think it's going to be just about right, actually. You know,
Hello, Vern. Looks like it could be the right amount of material. You just got to push it in, I think.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll check it one more time after.
I think it's going to be good, Rob. Yeah, right. I'll play this around, and I'm just going to push it around with a grater, I think.
Okay. Yeah, and then once you're done, let me know, and I'll check it one more time, and it should be. I think it'll be close.
I think it will be. Thanks,
Okay.
Rob.
Awesome.
Always, Vern, what's up?
Would you go right down to the beginning of this road, down by the asphalt, and pick up that windrow and dump it on the first high point that you come to?
On the first high point of the same road?
Yep.
You want me to do that for every high point on that road, or just the first one?
Just the first one. I'm going to take care of these other ones here myself.
Okay, not a problem, I'm on it. Disturb those dots when you're doing those, when you're making these adjustments, because you might need these dots. Well, we're gonna bone it again. So the grade crew needs these dots. That's what they put their boning rods on. And there's another one right there. So yeah, just make sure you don't disturb those boning dots as you're doing these adjustments with the grader. Thanks for staying till the end of this video. This pre-grade job is pretty well complete, and they will stabilize tomorrow. We'll see you next time.